It's pandemonium and the pandemic postponed Euros, and Mbappe, Ronaldo and Toni Kroos joined David Marshall and Stephen O'Donnell on the flight home, with the Swiss, Spain and the Southerners advancing to a crazy set of quarterfinals. It's the false 90s at the Euros. With me today, we've just got Carl and Lewis. How are we doing tonight, guys?
Good, not bad.
Now, we haven't had a recording in a while, so we'll start with Scotland going out with a 3-1 loss to Croatia.
Yeah, I mean, started off alright. Obviously, I think it hyped up a lot of people that game, obviously, because Scotland could have went through. But in the end, I think just Croatia was too strong. Their power 3 players just shone in that game. I didn't actually see the game, but yeah, it obviously it was good to get a goal as well for Scotland. It was a good strike as well from Conor McGregor. But in the end, Modric, the combination between Modric and Perisic was just too much for Scotland, I think.
Yeah, I think as soon as half-time came, Modric got into the game, and as soon as Modric took control of the game, Modric kind of showed his class. I mean, he's won a Ballon d'Or, so...
Yeah, from the highlights, I think Scotland gave Modric too much space. That's the man you need to close down. For me, for Croatia.
In the second half, he was given too much space to kind of dictate play.
Unless he's doing his whole entire career, and he's one of the best passers in the game.
Exactly, yeah. And so it's not... Scotland are going to be a team that, you know, they're not as good as... They don't have a world-class player like Luka Modric. And if Modric takes control of the game, he's going to drag his team kicking and screaming through it. And he scored a wonder goal.
Like
got on the act as well. It was a shame for Scotland because the goal for Callum McGregor did give them a bit of hope, but as soon as Modric turns it on, and there's going to be no hope for pretty much any team.
Very true.
It's just one of those things. Like, the man's in his late 30s, and a lot of people write Modric off. A lot of people write Croatia off because the glory days of that 2018 World Cup squad with Mario Mandzukic, Ivan Rakitic and Luka Modric in what you would argue is their prime, they're past them. So people kind of looked at Croatia and thought an up-and-coming Scotland team should edge past them, a Czech Republic team with some key players in it, and obviously England should be able to get the revenge on them. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Luka Modric turns up and single-handedly runs a game of football. It's one of these things that, as a Scotland fan, you see as being disappointing, but you can't take away from Modric how good he is for the age that he is as well.
Yeah, I don't think as well. It wasn't a particularly poor performance by Scotland. I mean, yeah, Lyndon Dykes didn't have a good game, but he hasn't really had a good tournament as a whole. Armstrong as well didn't really have a good game, but other than that, like, it wasn't a particularly bad performance in Scotland. They weren't bad to Croatia being good. They were just completely outplayed by what is a superior team.
Yeah, that's true.
And,
they are a superior team, and you can't argue that any better, Sam. There was a lot of Scotland fans after we drew with England who took it's a world beater scenario now. Like, we could go out tomorrow, play Argentina, Brazil, and we'd win 6-0. And I think people just didn't realise that the Scotland team's still a development project. There's not an out-and-out standout player for us. You can argue Andy Robertson because he plays for Liverpool, but even he, I don't think, had that good a tournament. There was the only really standout player for Scotland through the group stage was Billy Gilmore, and obviously it was just unfortunate he got COVID-19 just before
the key game against Croatia. Yeah,
the key game. Yeah, but it was nice. I really was quite impressed by Nathan Patterson once he came on for the sort of last 15 minutes of the game.
I
And
don't think he
then
was that long. I think he was only for about 5 minutes, mate.
Yeah, it was about 5-6 minutes.
maybe
Apparently.
about 5-6 minutes. I really
Yeah.
can't remember. I can't remember much of the game. Kind of my head, in my hands
Yeah,
after
it feels like
Modric
ages
scored.
ago.
Yeah, obviously,
But
I'm going to say something from my perspective, though. It's good to see Barisic coming on, because obviously he's been the third injury of the entire tournament, so it was good to see him coming on for, I think he came on for about 20 minutes. And obviously Patterson and Barisic swapped shirts at the end, which was good to see from a Rangers fan's perspective. So
Yeah, but
glad
see,
to
I argued with a lot of my friends beforehand. They're like, "Oh, I don't know why they didn't want to play Borna Barisic and all this." I'm like, if he's injured, if he's fit for the Scotland game, in my personal opinion, he should have started the Scotland game from a tactical perspective. You've got players coming at you, the likes of, Callum McGregor's, Kevin Nisbet's when he plays, and then you've got, your Stephen O'Donnell's, and you've got all these sort of Scotland-based players. So why not put in your Croatian left back that plays in the Scottish League to go, well, I know exactly what runs he'll make, because he'll might make the same ones that he makes in the league.
I think as well as Croatia killed the game off when Barisic came on. I mean, Barisic came on the 70th minute. Croatia scored the third in the 77th, and when they took off, is it Guardiol? That kind of they took off Guardiol, who was kind of being a little bit exposed. I think O'Donnell was kind of getting the better of him at times. But when Barisic came on, that really changed the game. Croatia then took a step into the game and really dominated. They stopped Scotland from having any opportunities for getting an equaliser at all. So that definitely did change the game.
I think that Guardiola guy, I'm sure he's about 19.
Yeah, he's very young, so I think Scotland did try to target him. Obviously, the right side for Scotland isn't that strong, but he's only 19. Like,
But obviously, I don't know if you agree, Lewis, but I would love to see him up against Patterson a bit earlier.
I would honestly, personally, and I mean, I'm no Rangers supporter. I'm no advocating for every Rangers player to start the game. But in my opinion, Stephen O'Donnell had a fantastic game against England, but you can't take away the fact that his performance against the Czech Republic was poor, and his performance against Croatia was kind of in the middle. I thought if we'd started Patterson would have maybe got that kind of that ego boost, that's like, oh, it's the Scotland debut, so I've got to.
From what I've seen
I've
from
got to prove
O'Donnell,
it.
what I've seen from O'Donnell in this tournament was O'Donnell and Patterson, comparing them both, is I would say Patterson is probably more better attacking wise. He'll go make a run. He'll go and take the ball off a player, and he'll try and create something. O'Donnell, especially from the Czech Republic game, didn't really do that, but he did okay against the England game though. But I think for the last game anyway against Croatia, I think you need that sort of player just to come on and just run riot.
because
He's 19 years old.
Scotland needed to win. Like, if they won, they would have gone through.
Yep.
And so
Just went for it, I think.
Should have just gone for it. I think the formation, did seem pretty positive. It's been something that Scotland had been dealing with, but
A 4-1-2-2, wasn't it?
it's basically a 3-5-2 with O'Donnell and Robertson.
I have two wing backs, yeah.
And the wing backs, yeah, and Tierney and McTominay at the back as well with Hanley.
Yep.
But it's been. I think this tournament has also seen that Lyndon Dykes isn't a starting striker for Scotland. He shouldn't be up there. It should really be Adams and Nisbet. But then again, that doesn't really suit how Steve Clarke would like to play.
No.
So,
Actually, that last game, he should have just went. He should have started Nisbet and started Patterson.
Yeah. And there's going to be other strikers that will slowly but surely make their way into the Scotland team.
Someone English with like a Scottish grand.
I mean, that could happen. But then, for all we know, in the next 2 years, you might have some youth prospect breakthrough at St Mirren or a St Johnstone or somewhere down south, and all of a sudden he's an absolute world beater. It's the good thing about the Scotland squad is like a lot of the players that are coming up now and that are world class are still young, like say Alan Campbell, David Turnbull, Billy Gilmore,
Nathan
Patterson. There's tons, and then if you give it another 5-10 years, the system could start to work because we've got these players. But my honest argument with Scotland is that there's not a lot of Scotland players that play outside of Scotland, really.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Whereas, like, when it comes to England, you know, like, there's players in the Premier League, there's players in La Liga, there's players in the Bundesliga.
The English squad has 3 players that play abroad. So obviously, Kieran Trippier's at Atletico, and then you've got Bellingham and Sancho who are at Dortmund.
Yeah.
That's it. And it's, you know, who have we got? We've got
Adams and Armstrong who are at
Adams and Armstrong. And, well, I suppose...
as well. But then again, there's none who are outside of Britain, really, is there?
No, we don't. I mean, you used to have Johnny Russell when he played for Sporting Kansas City, but yeah, there's no Scottish players in foreign lands that get called up, although Ryan Gauld should have got a call up, but I think it's enough of a Scotland rant now.
Yeah,
probably get on to the England game.
Yeah.
Or
move on now to the round of 16. So obviously we missed a pod last week. I was away on holiday, but the round of 16 did happen, and it was intense. But we'll start with a game from last night, and it was England 2, Germany 0.
Yeah, what a game! I'm sorry, right? I've just recovered from it, but no, it was a game where I'm sure I would probably want to say about 90% of England fans were nervous about or thinking that we were coming in like to get beat just because of the history eyes that we had with Germany and stuff like that. I think it's the first time in 50 years or something like that we've beaten them.
It's the first time since the 1966 final that England have beaten Germany in a knockout game.
Incredible, absolutely incredible. Just where to start. First half, anyone could have won. Going into that second half, you're probably like these teams are very evenly matched.
I think the first 20 minutes, England struggled to find their feet a bit, and Germany looked to get a few opportunities.
I think it took a while for England to figure out their formation and what they were planning to do with that formation, because England and Germany did match up with the same formation that night, yesterday, which I think played to England's advantage in the end. Obviously came with a chance, but in the first half, which kind of hit off Saka's foot or behind his heel. It was really unlucky. It was just classic England. I think going in that second half, people were very confident. And obviously, I think the crowd definitely helped. It was 60,000 there at Wembley. I'd love to be there, but obviously the 2 goals come from Raheem Sterling and Kane, which is good to see him getting off the mark.
Yeah, it's good to see Kane get off the mark as well. So I wanted to add as well, Sterling's had a really good tournament. A lot of people have been on his back after the season, and then were on his back after the World Cup as well. But he scored 3 goals this tournament, and he's
I'm one of those people that doesn't really rate Sterling, because I said to Lewis before recording, it's because he's put these high performances in for City, and it doesn't show as much as he can. I don't think he shows his full potential that he can for England. That's what I've seen anyway. But obviously, I said to my dad yesterday, it's like, if we slag Sterling, he'll score. That's what happens all the time. So we're like saying, "Oh fuck you, Sterling! You're shitting all that, blah blah blah." Boom, scores. but no. I think that's silenced a lot of people now, and it's definitely silenced me anyway. I think what Tom tries to do, he tries to be creative with the ball, tries to beat players, but I think most of the time he does lose it.
So yeah, sometimes
Or
he bites off
yeah,
more than he can chew, really, and kind of
yeah,
tries to take on too many players. But other than that, he's scored 3 goals. He's had a really good tournament. He's got on the end of some good chances, and he's really kind of, when England kind of looked like they couldn't score, he's kind of, he's created the chances. He's helped. He's found the spaces in between, and he's scored the goals, really.
yeah. But he did that. He did that. It was his mistake for when the Muller chance.
Oh yeah, just
It was his
watching
mistake.
that, he giving the ball away to Havertz, and then Havertz playing it into
Oh my
Muller.
god,
Like, I think we all thought that Muller was going to score that,
he should have.
and it just
He's done it all the time for Germany against us. So
yeah,
um,
I swear to God, I don't understand how that's not gone in, really.
England need that luck.
Yeah,
It's always been gone against England for years. To get that bit of luck, I think, was good as well.
I just want to jump back in on the whole Raheem Sterling thing. I can't take away Raheem Sterling's having a phenomenal Euros, but in a way, I think that because everyone's been slagging Sterling for the entire season with his performances at City, kind of fell out the team a little bit. There is also rumours swirling around that City want to go in for Jack Grealish. So in a way, is Sterling trying to use these Euros as a way to say, look, I've still got it. But
Yeah,
to counter argue that, Jack Grealish came on against Germany, and I thought Jack Grealish was absolutely phenomenal.
he
I
changed the
mean,
game.
he
He's
bags,
involved in
bags
both
the
goals,
assist.
back the
Bags the
assist to the
assist.
Kane goal. Yeah,
and he sort of started the move in the first goal as well. He was one that passed out to Shaw, and Shaw flipped it in. But yeah, no, I think a definite honourable mention for me anyway, and I was very very impressed when he was on was Bukayo Saka. What a player he is, by the way. I rate him when he's at Arsenal as well. What a fantastic prospect he will be, and he's had a good Euros when he's been on as well. Yeah, he just I always said that he's that sort of player that brings that tempo for when England start like passing it and across the back and stuff like that, really slow walking pace. And when you pass it to Saka, he'll go and beat 2 men. Same as Sterling as well. He'll go and beat 2 men and get a chance in. He took I think I don't know who it was. Was it Guzins or something like that?
yeah,
Guzins.
Gosens, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely ripped him to shreds. I think when Saka was on. But yeah, it just I think obviously I don't want to get too confident, but it's obviously defensively England have been amazing this Euros.
Sterling
It's
conceded
just
a goal.
you can, yeah, exactly, and you can see like the heart. See, I don't know, I think it was Walker when Stones did a tackle in like edge of the box. Walker went right up to it in his face like fucking yes, like come on. It's just good to see that sort of like motivation and that passion right now. England looking very good, and obviously I want to mention as well. John Pickford had a very good game as well. That's that. You need all your key players on form when you're playing against a German team like that, and it paid off. Matched them up, absolutely brilliant from England. And next round we go. Come on, it's
Into
coming
the
on.
next round, into the quarterfinals, where they'll face Ukraine, who won with their 121st minute winner last night from Artem Dovbyk. It was a good header, and it was one of the. It was a moment in a game in which probably was the worst of the round of 16 games. One of the most boring, and it was still a pretty exciting game. Alexander Zinchenko got the opener for Ukraine. Forsberg equalised, and it kind of died down after half time. There wasn't that many opportunities, but extra time it just sparked back into life again with red card for Marcus Danielsson for Sweden. That got Ukraine back into the game, and I think
Yeah.
it's unlucky for Sweden. I think Sweden have a couple of good players and players that could cause England problems in Forsberg and Isaac, but they won't be playing in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. Just Ukraine to win. But obviously can't write them off as well with was it Yarmolenko as well. He's a good player. But yeah, there's definitely players to watch out for, of course. Forsberg was a player who I thought had a decent Euros.
Yeah, he's scored a few goals this Euros. He hit the bar a few times in this Ukraine
Yep.
game. But I think, as well as in the extra time, England will look at the fact that Ukraine had quite a few players down, and for the fact that these Euros have come after like a bumper season, in which like they've played kind of 2 seasons in one in the past couple of years, and everyone's exhausted. Players have been going down for pretty much everyone, and I think it's going to be a test of who's the fittest team, and that the fittest team are going to win the Euros.
Yep. At this point, yeah. And game management as well. If you can manage a game well, then that'll be the team that wins the Euros. If you can do that well and do that best, then that'll win the Euros. But yeah, it just shows you. I don't know if anyone predicted for them to be in the quarters, but fair play to them. But
yeah, I did.
It's going to be very.
Yeah.
Sorry, on you.
I was going to say I did think that Ukraine would make the semi-finals because I think they have a good team. They have a good togetherness.
Really,
and Andriy Shevchenko is a really good international manager. Ukraine have shocked a couple of teams in the past few months as well. So I do think that Ukraine will have it will be a test for England in the quarterfinals. England are the favourites, but I do think that Ukraine, they have a couple of good players in Zinchenko and Yarmolenko, and they do have a good togetherness as a squad. They could cause England a few problems.
Yeah, but England can also cause them 3 problems. Well, it's just going to be one of them. I think obviously going to be really nervous for England. It's the same with. I don't want to fall back on that, but like the Croatia game in 2018, you would expected England to win that, and that pressure I think was what made England crumble in the end for that game. So England need to brush that aside and just focus on the game itself.
I really don't think England have much of an issue until the semi-finals.
I'll say that.
No, like, could England go all the way to a final? Probably at this point. Do I think they'll get to a final? Probably. My honest money, I would honestly put money now, like, on an England-Italy final. I don't.
Playing a tough game though.
It would be a tough game. It would be a very good game of football. Because obviously Spain don't really tend to turn up the pressure until later on, until the pressure's against them. Like, that was evidence this week.
Yeah, against
That's what it looked like in
against
the
Croatia.
I see in the Slovakia game as well, where they had to win. They won 5-0, and then against Croatia as well, they won in a stunning 5-3 win. Like, Spain know how to turn it on when they have to.
Yeah. I watched that game, the Croatia-Spain game. I wouldn't say I was overly impressed with Spain, to be honest. They look very shaken defensively. I think that's one of their weak points. Even though they do have obviously they have Laporte and Azpilicueta as well, but I think it's their left back and and Garcia and the centre back as well. I think that's their weak points as well. And obviously, I think I like Busquets as a player, but he didn't look that great for me. What he can be.
It's kind of like the argument that we always make in the normal pods about Scott Brown, that it's just to get the Celtic Daz going. Like, yeah, I mean, Sergio Busquets just to get the Spain Daz going. Just,
It's weird to think that Sergio Busquets is only 32. I thought he was much older than that.
I thought he was a lot older.
He's only 32, but he does look like he's about 58.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones, isn't it? I think it's because you always kind of wrote him off if you were playing FIFA because he had like no pace. I don't think he's ever been a pacey player, but he's always been technical. Like he has always been a solid defensive midfielder, but he is kind of at that point where it's like there's so many better defensive midfielders for Spain. You know, you've got Saul, Rodri, Oh, that's the two I can think of.
So
Saul, Rodri, Koke as well, I suppose.
Saul didn't even make the
Mar-
squad for Spain. And Marcos
yeah,
Llorente's been playing at
Marcus
right back.
Llorente. Why is Marcus Llorente at right back and they're playing Sergio Busquets? Why? Sure. Well, I know there was no Real Madrid players in the Spain squad. But surely you could play someone like, I don't know, Jesus Navas at right back
Navas
and
didn't make the squad.
move.
Spain didn't
How
pick.
did Navas?
Spain
how do
didn't
you make
pick a
squad?
natural right back in their squad at all. They had Aspilicueta, who's normally been playing like right centre back. They have Marcos Llorente, who's often been playing in midfield. But yeah,
England could loan one of our right backs. Then we've got about 20 anyway.
give him Alexander Arnold.
Yeah.
Yeah, like even Navas didn't make the squad. Spain have been a bit, it's been confusing how Luis Enrique has picked his squad, but it seems it's gotten this far so far.
It's that's the thing though. It's a just like Croatia could have beat them.
Yeah.
This week, Croatia were minutes off being able to beat Spain. Minutes.
You could say the same thing about Italy as
obviously,
well, though, to be fair. They only just beat Austria.
That's true. And, everyone thought, oh, the Netherlands will make a semi-final, and look what happened to them against the Czech Republic. So,
It's a weird Euros.
It's a weird Euros, but...
Yeah. It's a good Euros, though.
I mean, the Spain game's probably been one of the most exciting round of 16 ties.
Which was closely followed by the second most exciting round of 16 ties. A 3-3 draw between France and Switzerland, which went to penalties, which Switzerland won their first win in a knockout game in a major tournament since the 1938 World Cup.
Wow. Fair play. I didn't even know what to say about that.
The cracks have begun to show. I think this is just all this drama that's happened in the France squad has finally came to a head. All these comments made about certain players by other players, and I've never seen a team since Spain win a World Cup and then win a Euros. Now, Spain have done it.
France did it in 98 and 2000 as well.
2000 I want to say Italy done it as well. Like I want to say they done Euro 2008.
No, Euro 2008 was Spain. So Spain did Euros, World Cup Euros. They won 3 in a row.
That's it. Yeah.
I'm just trying to think. I'm not sure if Italy did. No, they didn't. I was thinking that Italy might have done World Cup 82 and Euro 84, but France won in 84. But yeah, so it's only France in 98, 2000 and Spain in 08, 10 and 12 that have won kind of consecutive tournaments.
There's always that curse though, and that curse has begin to show. And I think the France squad have an over-reliance on certain players. Like, it did seem a lot of the time watching France play, it was Benzema or Mbappe will score, don't worry about Griezmann. But Mbappe just has not looked good this Euros at all.
He hasn't had a good Euros at all. He missed the decisive penalty, of course, and I mean he scored 2 offside goals in the game against Germany, the first game, but other than that, it doesn't look like he's done much at all.
The thing I've got to say about Mbappe is Ronaldo missed a very important penalty for Man United when he was 22. And Mbappe's just missed penalty. Very important penalty. 22. So, you can come back from it, of course you can. He's still a great player, but it wasn't even that good of a penalty, to be fair. You expect someone like Mbappe to just smash it. Well, compared to the rest of the quality of the penalties, you expect someone like Mbappe to slot that away, pick a side, go for it. But it was a nice height with the keeper.
Yeah, it's an easy height. In fact, the Swiss almost missed a penalty. Lowy's got his hands to one of them.
Yeah.
He couldn't keep it out. And I thought France had it. Like when Switzerland missed their penalty in the game, the one they were up, they missed a penalty. France immediately clicked in, and Benzema scored 2 quick goals. Pogba scored an absolutely beautiful goal.
What a beautiful goal!
That was a good goal.
That's potential goal of the tournament, apart from the David Marshall lob. But
there's been quite a few fantastic goals this tournament, I'd have to say.
Oh, yeah.
I would honestly say in a top 3, Yarmolenko's goal
against the Netherlands,
against the Netherlands, and then Pogba's goal against Switzerland, and then I mean, as much as you don't want to say it, like probably the number one goal of the tournament contender just now is Patrick Schick's goal against Scotland.
Unless someone scores from their own penalty box, it's not going to be beaten, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
That goal is not just tournament contending. That is Puskás Award level.
That's Puskás.
I mean, at least Scotland will get a mention in the Euros. At least they'll sort of won something.
Well, they're also the only team that England haven't scored against yet as well.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Very true. Yeah.
So that could stay, and Scotland will take that.
Yeah.
Well, it's exciting times at this point. We're about to go into the quarterfinals, and whoever goes through from there, it's just. Yeah,
I'm very looking forward to the Belgium-Italy game. That will be an absolute cracker. And now I'm looking forward to Switzerland-Spain as well.
Yeah, Belgium saw off ran out of Portugal, and Italy beat Austria. Denmark thrashed Wales as well. Comfortable performance from Denmark. They bossed it all the way through, I think.
Yeah, they're phenomenal. Yeah, Goldberg was very impressive.
It's been good to see how well they've bounced back from obviously what happened in the first game against Finland with Christian Eriksen. Like, it's been exciting to see how they've bounced back and see how they've come back from that. And honestly, they have the semi-finals in their sights. I mean, Czech Republic aren't pushovers by any means, but they are a team that Denmark look like a really strong team. They have that togetherness that I don't think any other squad has, especially after what happened with Eriksen. The squad is all together, so that could be something that can see them through all the way, possibly.
A wee bit of breaking news coming from your team, Sam.
Yes, I did.
From the Euros. Yes. What do you make of that then? Review from that.
Yeah, Nuno coming in. He's like 58th choice, isn't he?
Sounds like Postecoglou as well.
Aye. Apparently they did ask Matt Hancock last week, so. But to kind of go back to with Denmark, it's like a tragedy has unified a team.
Yep.
That team could probably walk through walls currently, and I honestly think that if that team's well gelled enough, they will make. They could also make a final. Like, this tournament is wide open. There's obviously key teams that might not make it. Ukraine, I would rule out Ukraine. I'd rule out the Czech Republic. But see, Belgium, Italy, England, Spain, Switzerland, and Denmark. It's like any of them could win the Euros.
To be honest, I wouldn't rule out the Czechs. I think they look like a really good squad. Like, they have been the surprise of the tournament, really. I don't think anyone expected them to be this good. But Patrick Schick's been on fire. Souček's had a really good tournament as well. Is it Holles, who had a really good game against the Netherlands as well. So, I couldn't.
Who's the right back again? The one that plays for West Ham.
Kufal.
And I've been thinking. I thought that Vatslik's really good as well, despite not getting an ear in at Sevilla for the last couple of months. Is it Vaslik? Vlasic? Something like that. But like the Czech goalie's been phenomenal.
Yeah. I'm not even
Vaslik.
Vashlik. Yeah, and they have a few really good young players. Obviously, there's a lot of players from that Slavia squad who have had a couple of good runs in Europe the past few years. So they have
Got a couple of not so good run ins, but we'll not discuss them.
These could isn't on the squad, but you know the Czech can't be ruled out. Even I think Ukraine, they have something. They do have a little bit of fight in them. The luck could fall their way, but it is a wide open tournament. Any of the 8 teams can win it, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Finally got exciting. I don't mean that in a bad way, but it's like Euro 2016. You kind of knew where things were going. You knew ultimately, you thought it was going to be like France, Germany, is what a lot of people thought, France, Germany at the time. And then it turned out to be France, Portugal. But with this one, it's like you can't really pinpoint the final. If you're going to take based on like form alone, then you would say England, Italy, but it could be, for all we know, it could be the Czech Republic against Denmark at this point.
No, in this Euros, how it's going.
The Czech Republic versus... Yeah, sorry, yeah. Is it the Czech Republic
versus
Denmark is one of the quarterfinals, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah,
but it could be like Denmark versus Ukraine at this point. You just don't know.
That would be one of the semi-finals. Denmark,
Switzerland,
Denmark,
yeah, or like Czech Republic, Switzerland. Like it could be. It is a Ukraine versus
Zherdanshi of the tournament.
Yeah, Switzerland, Ukraine final. It literally could be anyone. It is like the favourites. Yeah, probably as you said, a Belgium, Italy, or England, but it really could be anyone out there.
I think it would be quite funny though if we get to like a final, because the final's at Wembley and they've said that Wembley will be close to full capacity. So could you imagine, like just for talking's sake, imagine that Germany did beat England yesterday,
right,
and Germany get all the way to the final and have to play in like Switzerland or something, and there's like no German fans in the stadium because the only German fans that can attend it have to be in the UK or have enough money to afford a quarantine when they get back to Germany. So it's a strange one. Like the capacity going up seems to be because people think, well, there's going to be an England final at some point. England's going to be in the final, but it's also kind of worrying because you don't want to have a 90,000 capacity stadium almost full for two kind of teams that aren't going to draw in 70,000, 80,000 fans.
They will send out tickets to. I think they'll probably sell them online, to be honest. So anyone would just go, but then people would buy that live in England or Scotland, for example, will go down, and just to be there. I think lots of people would. You don't have to be. You can be a neutral, but I think it'll definitely sell out if capacity goes up, though. No shadow of a doubt.
False 90s at the Ukraine versus Czech Republic.
Come on, let's go. If that happens, right, we're going.
If it's Ukraine, Switzerland, we'll go. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Don't say that now.
We'll have to do like the wee clap thing that's like their version of the Viking clap.
Yeah, in fact, it's pretty much all. Going back to England quickly, it's pretty much been a home tournament for them. Obviously, they played all three good games at home. They've played the round of 16 at home. They played the quarterfinal in Rome against Ukraine, and they come back. And then if they get through that, it's to come back for the semi-finals and the final at Wembley. So the only game they're going to play away from Wembley is in Rome.
It is on Saturday, yeah.
So,
That'll definitely be interesting. Because obviously not got the home crowd. They obviously not got the big crowd, but definitely England fans will go over. But it won't be the same. But England have been quite lucky with that, to be fair.
I think I read something that if you wanted to go to England, Italy, you would have to have left on Sunday because the Italians have like a mandatory 5-day quarantine for anyone coming from the UK. So in theory, you would have just had to have hoped and prayed that England bet Germany yesterday
Yeah.
to get tickets for a quarter final that you might not have even been in.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Stupid rule.
In fact, for a pan-European tournament, England playing almost all the games at home is, a little bit stupid. But it's been nice to see the fact that a lot of other countries have been involved. I mean, Hampden was played in last night for the Sweden-Ukraine game. It was a bit disappointing to see that there wasn't that much for a crowd there, but it would have been, a fun game to go to if we could go to that. So it's been so excited for all around Europe. I think a lot of countries have got into it. A lot of countries have enjoyed being a part of it, even if their team didn't qualify, like Romania or Azerbaijan. They're hosting games. So it's been an exciting tournament. I think it's one where the players have really enjoyed it as well. So, yeah, be interested to see what happens.
Yeah.
The concept of it's been great. I mean, I know after this year it goes back to like the one country kind of hosting it rule with Germany.
Isn't it typical that the one time where the European Championship is all over Europe, nobody can go because of travel restrictions?
Yeah.
It is like the only thing you could have really done in the UK is like go to all of England's games at Wembley, go to all of Scotland games at Hampden, go to one of the round of 16 ties at Wembley, and then go to the other round of 16 tie at Hampden before then going to the semi-finals and the final at Wembley. So, in a way, you can't go over to Rome for the quarterfinals of England. You couldn't go to Amsterdam or Budapest or wherever, but being in the UK in a way has had its advantages because you can literally watch most of the Euros from the country you live in. So, but then in a way, at the same time, like the amount of games that have been played in Glasgow and Edinburgh does kind of feel like the UK is hosting the Euros.
Do you mean Glasgow and London? Sorry,
Glasgow and London. Sorry.
Edinburgh were great to hosting games, but didn't happen. It would be interesting if they did go for this kind of pan-European thing again, without the pandemic in the background. But it would be something that I think a lot more people would enjoy if there wasn't a limit on travel. If some people could go to Bilbao and then Budapest and then Paris, for example, that would be something to look at.
Maybe this is what we're not hearing. They said pan-European, and maybe the pan short for pandemic. So maybe it's like the pandemic Europe tour.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, just go away, Lewis.
Let's move on to the predictions.
Let's go. Let's do that.
Let's move. So obviously we didn't predict the round of 16 games, but last time we did recording, we did predict the rest of the group stage. So we've recorded halfway through the group stage. We predicted the other half of the group stage, and with 8 points this week. The lowest are Lewis and Marcus didn't send in anything, so they get no points. Marcus doesn't actually send in any Euro predictions yet, so he has 1 point from like the Champions League final, which was like weeks ago. Andy has 8 points from this week's, where he got points for Italy beating Wales, and then for Finland, Belgium, Russia, Denmark, North Macedonia, Netherlands, Czech Republic, England, Slovakia, Spain, and Germany, Hungary. And then it is also me and Gary drawn on 10 points. And that means Kyle wins for last week.
Yes!
Got 19 points. So we got
Come on!
dead on. So we got 4 points for Sweden Slovakia, and 1-0 win for Sweden. 4 points for Finland Belgium, a 2-0 win for Belgium, and 4 points as well for North Macedonia and Netherlands. That was a 3-0 win for the Netherlands. So,
Lovely jubbly.
Lovely jubbly. So the overall Euros predictions table has just we sort that. Mark was on bottom with 1 point, then Gary with 10 points, Lewis with 14, me with 20, Andy with 21, and Kyle's on 31.
Come on, boys. Let's do it.
And so we...
Because I didn't have Marcus.
Yeah.
don't have Marcus to compete with, so...
Yeah, Marcus would have to do something, like, hope for the best.
He needs to do an Andy.
Just predict it once and then get them all right. Get all 4
Yeah.
points, yeah. So predict the quarterfinals. We may record after the quarterfinals, but if not, we'll predict the semis and the final before they actually happen. And put those in with the main scores. We'll start with the first game, which is Switzerland versus Spain.
Right, this is kind of one of the easier ones out of the 4 ties. I'm going to say 3-0 Spain.
Oof.
I'm going to say 1 each. But Spain to edge it in extra time.
Spain to edge it on extra time. What, 2-1?
2-1, yeah. Knowing this Euros.
No, I think Switzerland have got something. I think it's going to be 2-2. And then Switzerland on pens.
Wow.
I think Switzerland, they've got the hang of penalties. I think it'll be pretty similar to the France game in the fact that, Spain will look to dominate and then Switzerland will get them on penalties. But this next up is probably the highlight of the quarterfinals is Belgium versus Italy.
1-1 after extra time. And Italy to edge it on penalties.
Italy on penalties. Oof. Go on.
It's so hard to predict. It could be anything. This could be anyone that win, I think. Oh dear. I'll go with my gut. I'll say 2-1 Italy. After 90.
Again, I think this will be a close one. Austria took Italy to extra time. I think that was a game where Austria looked to defend. I think Belgium will probably go at them, especially with Kevin De Bruyne. Thorgan Hazard's been on fire as well, so I think there's going to be goals in this one for sure. I'm not too sure.
It's difficult.
It's a really tough one to call. I'm going to go with Italy, and I'm going to say 3-2 after extra time.
Fair enough.
And moving on to the other side of the draw, it's Czech Republic versus Denmark.
Czech Republic, Denmark. Denmark 2-0.
You seem very sure on that one.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm sure.
Goalless after 90. Denmark to edge it 1-0 in extra time.
I think Denmark for sure, but I think Czech Republic could cause some problems. I think it's going to go to extra time. I think it is going to end. They're all really tough to call.
I know. Yeah, I know.
Denmark are gonna. I think again, I'm gonna say Denmark in extra time 3-2. And then the final quarterfinal is Ukraine versus England.
2-0 England.
I'm just going to be Kyle's echo. That's probably not a bad prediction. 2-0 England.
I feel like this quarterfinal is very similar to the World Cup quarterfinal that England had against Sweden back in 2018. In the fact that, do you guys even remember that game?
Game.
Roughly, yeah.
Because it feels like one that isn't memorable because England did such a good professional job in just winning the game, not conceding, winning 2-0. So I think again it's gonna be a 2-0 win for England. It's gonna be a professional job, and they're gonna see them through to the semi-finals. I've gone 2-0 on that one. So yeah, it's gonna be an exciting.
Is it coming home? Is it coming home, Sam?
It might be. But then again, that means Gareth Southgate actually wins something, which anyway. Also, going back to the England Germany game, I just wanted to say that was Mr. Scratch and Sniff's last game for Germany. We've also seen the loss of Frank de Boer, who's lost his job as Netherlands manager as well after the loss to Czech Republic.
Yeah, it's a shame. I like Frank de Boer, but yeah, after that game, you kind of needed to leave, didn't you? So.
Kind of an inexcusable one. Like when you've got like a football powerhouse with all the talent that it's got, and the Netherlands, to lose to the Czech Republic is like a national embarrassment. So yeah, Frank de Boer has to go there. But with regards to Jogi Löw, you can't take away what he's done in the last 17 years.
Yeah, so he's been in charge since the end of So he took charge after the 2006 World Cup, and he's taken him through Euro 2008 where he got to the final, and then World Cup 2010 got to the semi-finals, and then Euro 2012 I think it was semi-finals as well, and then World Cup 2014
won the World Cup.
I think Euro 2016 was also semi-finals.
And then we don't talk about Russia.
Don't talk about Russia, and then here it's just the last 16. It's kind of become an end of an era for Germany. They look to build again. I think under Hansi Flick, I think that's a fantastic appointment.
It was really between Hansi Flick and Jurgen Klopp, and Jurgen Klopp is starting to kind of fall away as well. So I would rather see Hansi Flick in charge of Germany. But Germany are one of the teams that have never had... I don't think Germany's ever had a manager from another country. You know, like how... A bit like Scotland, really. I don't think Scotland's ever brought in a manager from outside of Scotland.
They had, what's his name? Bertie Vogts.
Oh, wait. Yeah.
But we don't talk about that. Yeah,
but I honestly don't think Germany have ever had a manager from outside of Germany.
I don't think so, no.
I think it's one of those very homegrown ones. I don't even know if the French have. It's strange, but
a lot of big nations really haven't. I think England definitely have with Sven-Göran Eriksson and Fabio Capello. But
Fabio Capello.
If you think of Italy, nothing stands out. Spain, France, Germany. I don't think they've had managers from abroad trying to come in and save it.
I'm just gonna have a look. No, it's always been. Oh wait, well, I mean, suppose so. There's a wee bit of it, but it's it was obviously Didier Deschamps. Then Laurent Blanc was the manager before that. So there's never been There genuinely has never been different manager outside in France. But Hansi Flick's a good one. But yeah, you can't really take away up until 2018, Scratch and Sniff was a phenomenal manager, and it is a fantastic career that the man's had.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he does next. I don't think he's going to retire. But he has been linked to the Real Madrid job,
Oh
which
my
would be
god!
insane. Scratch and Sniff in the Champions League final. But yeah, there's a few opportunities out there for him, and I don't think he's going away anytime soon. He's still, he's achieved what he's achieved. And it's not, the past couple of years it has kind of fallen away, but you can either blame that on the fact that the new generation coming through isn't quite ready yet, like the likes of Musiala and Gnabry. Maybe they're not quite ready to step up to that big stage on the international level, but there's definitely a chance for
I'm pretty
Germany.
sure even Gosens is quite young, and like the likes of Timo Werner and Kai Havertz are still very young players. So, as you've already said, Sam, like the Hansi Flick era is in, and it'll be exciting to see where Germany go. I mean, among every team that's kind of been at the Euros, there's a crop of young talent slowly coming through, and it's going to make the next generation of football actually really exciting.
Yeah.
I think that's as well as like in the past, like these Euros have been easy to call, easy, but nowadays the amount of young players who have so much potential, and like everyone's kind of hyping up, it's hard to tell who's going to win this because every country has them.
Yeah, that's very true. It's just
I mean,
who
like,
actually shines through, really, in this tournament. Will win the Euros, I think.
all you have to do though is go back like 5 years, and it's like, oh, name Norway's best player. We just go Norway for talking sake, and folk would maybe go Josh King, and then now it's Erling Haaland, and it's like a world class striker from Norway. Trying to think of sort of other ones. There's like a Ukrainian goalkeeper at Real Madrid, Lunin, who is up and coming. There's so many young players up and coming from like the most randomest of countries, and it will eventually turn into this sort of system where every country's going to have that one standout player at some point.
It's going to
And then whoever kind of shines through will be the one that has the bigger crop, which, to be fair, probably is England currently. The likes of Saka, Bellingham, Mason Mount, still young, Phil Foden. You could go down a list of the England ones, but it'll be exciting anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say Spain have Pedri, Italy have all their young players. Belgium have a few coming through as well. Denmark, Czech Republic, they have Souček and Adam Klozek as well, who's still quite young. Switzerland have a few coming through as well. Ukraine as well. So like, every country has them, and it's going to be interesting to see who shines the most, especially in these quarterfinals, and then going into the future as well.
Indeed, yep.
Yeah, but
That's it.
I think that's where we call it for tonight. So we hope you enjoy the quarterfinals and the rest of the Euros. If we don't talk before then, thank you guys for joining me tonight, and we'll see you all next time. False 90s podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Podbean, and our website at false90s.wordpress.com. For updates, follow False 90s on both Twitter and Instagram. And a big thank you to Fransisco Aluear and his track Space Game, which is our theme tune.
Shinsuke Nakamura, you fucking doughball. Okay, Dad.